Hey, shalom everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda ben Shomer, and you're watching the Ponderings of the Perkei Avot. Today we are in chapter 4, verses 4 through 6. And it says, Rabbi Leviticus of Yavne would say, "Be very, very humble, for the hope of mortal man is worms." Look guys, you bleed red blood like everybody else. You put your pants on the same way everybody else does every morning. Your flatulence doesn't smell like roses, so don't think that you're better than anybody else, or don't think more highly of yourself than you ought, because we all have the same fate. Eventually, we're going to be worm food, right? Goes on to say, Rabbi Yochanan, the son of Perkei, would say, "Whoever desecrates the divine name covertly is punished in public. Regarding the desecration of the name, the malicious and the merely negligent are one and the same." So Numbers 32:23 says, "But if ye will not do so, behold, ye have sinned against the Lord." And this is the important part. "Be sure your sins will find you out." The real you, the true you, is who you are behind closed doors. The real you, the true you, is who you are when you think that nobody is looking, right? We're all flawed human beings. We're all fallen creatures. We all give in to the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, every now and again, right? And this desecration of the name, a lot of people, when somebody thinks of the desecration of the name of God or taking God's name in vain, they mean, they think, God, that's what they think of. And yes, that's part of it. But it's deeper. It's more than that. It's more than just using God's name as a curse word or a swear word. It goes way beyond that. It's talking about integrity. It's talking about morals. It's talking about absolutes. It's talking about right and wrong. Who you are behind closed doors. Are you able to cut corners or cheat or just kind of skate by and kind of sweep the dirt under the rug? Nobody's ever going to know that you did a slack job. Nobody's going to know that you just didn't give your all or give your best, right? But you do, and God does. So is that the real you? Is that how you want to be portrayed? Now look, if we call ourselves believers in Messiah Yeshua, or if we even call ourselves follower of God, the God of Israel, the God Most High, the creator of heavens and the earth, what we do reflects who God is. Because when people see us doing things, they're going to think, oh, well, that person's a Christian. Oh, that person's a Messianic Jew. Oh, that person's a believer in God. They're a religious person, but yet they're doing this. So what kind of God do they serve if they do that? Not saying that that's justification or right for somebody to judge you like that and just to, put your actions upon God, because after all, we are fallen creatures. We do sin. We do make mistakes, right? But the thing is, how do we deal with that? How do we make up for that? Do we correct the wrong? Do we right the wrong? Do we come out and say, hey, I screwed up. I failed. I messed up. I made a mistake. Please forgive me. Right? So if we call ourselves believers in Messiah Yeshua, or we call ourselves believers in God, we carry God's name. We carry God's reputation. We are God's ambassadors. So what we do reflects on God. So when we fail, when we sin, when we mess up, when we make mistakes, when we just totally blow it, that reflects on God, and that reflects on his name. So as I said, how we handle that determines whether we desecrate the name of God or not. It's no different than a doctor putting a patient under anesthesia and then sexually abusing them, or a doctor botching up and being negligent in an operation and causing injury, because the Hippocratic Oath, to do no harm, right? It's no different than a police officer who busts a bad guy for drugs and then takes his drugs and sells it on the side to make a little extra money for himself. You know what? The doctor is representing the Hippocratic Oath, representing doctors, right? But because one doctor messes up, or even a handful of doctors mess up, or they're quack doctors, or they abuse their patients, or they do something wrong, doesn't mean that all doctors are that way. Just because there are crooked cops out there and cops that bust the bad guy for drugs and then sells it on the side, doesn't mean that all policemen are corrupt. So it's the same with people who claim to be Christians or Messianic Jews or believers in God. Not just because some of them mess up and some of them are deceitful and evil and continually so, unrepentantly so, doesn't mean that they're all like that. The difference is we've got to stand up as believers and admit when we're wrong, correct the wrong, right the wrong, make reconciliation, and make recompense if possible. Just as the Torah says, in some cases, if you steal something, you not only have to give that thing back, you got to give 4 times as much back, right? So we are expected to go above and beyond when it comes to maintaining the good reputation of God through our actions and being a good ambassador and a good representation of God, so that we don't desecrate his name, so that we don't neglect his name, so that we don't give God a bad name. I remember one time when my daughter, she was just in kindergarten, and how little kids play around and they pretend they're animals. Well, a little girl was sticking her finger out, and my daughter was pretending to be a dog or some kind of animal, and she was like, "Arr, arr," and she actually accidentally bit that girl's finger. Well, she felt really bad for it, and Ariana ended up getting in trouble for it, even though it was an accident. She bit this girl's finger, and she comes home and she tells me about it, and I said, "Well, what do you think that we should do?" And I said, "Did you say that you're sorry?" She goes, "Yeah, I apologized and said I'm sorry." I said, "Did you know that sorry is not good enough?" She kind of looked at me. I said, "Because we're Jews, because we are believers in Messiah Yeshua, we're expected to do more. We're expected not only just to say sorry, but we're to show that we're sorry. We're to show that we're repentant. What do you think would be good to help show that girl that you're really sorry?" And she thought, she's like, "Well, give her a Band-Aid for her boo-boo?" "Yeah, that's a great idea." "Can you think of anything else?" "Well, maybe if I give her a piece of candy, that will make her feel better too and show her that I'm really sorry." That's an excellent idea, Ariana. So she actually did those things the next day, right? And so she was a good representation of God's name by doing that. Anyways, guys, that's the Perkei Avot for today. Thanks for watching. Shalom. Shavua Tov. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to press the like button as well as the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and the notification bell that'll let you know every time I make a new video. And don't forget to share this with a friend. Also, visit our website at abrahamsdescendants.com. Thanks. Shalom.